Hi, Aquarius. Welcome to Pandora Astrology's monthly horoscope for November of 2020. This month's themes center around finding meaning in life and also career themes. And you could handle both of those topics in a natal and transit reading. You'll find a link for that in the description below in YouTube. So Mercury and Mars have been retrograde, and that has really sucked, but they're about to go direct, as Julia is going to tell you. Hey, Julia, what's it going to be like for the Aquarians of the world this month?
Ooh, good question, Jamie. Well, hey there, Aquarius. So I'll start with Mercury, the planet of communication, the planet of mentation, and it begins this month retrograde. It's retrograde in the sign of Libra, and that corresponds with your ninth house. The ninth house is education, travel, legal affairs. So when Mercury goes retrograde, this could have been a very sort of frustrating time if you're still in school, maybe having to review or rethink a thesis or a paper or something that you've learned. You might also, if you're not in school and involved in legal matters, been having to review things as well along those lines too. And it's the house of travel. So this could have mean that if you've had to take any trips, in the past few weeks, you may have run into a lot of snafus along the way. The good news is that Mercury is going direct on November 3rd. So that's going to make life a lot easier for everyone, especially you too. And then Mercury is going to enter Scorpio on November 10th, which is your 10th house. This is the house of career. This is sort of your public reputation. So when Mercury comes into this house, if you do anything Mercury related in your career, which involves teaching, speaking, writing, also buying and selling, then this can be kind of a boost and a fruitful period for you. And you could also be spending a lot of your mental energy just thinking about your career, whether you're in one or not, what your next career might be. Then Mars also starts the month retrograde in the sign of Aries, but it finally goes direct on November 14th. All of this has been taking place in your third house. This is the house of neighborhood. This is the house of siblings. This is the house of communication. So you have spent the last couple of months going through a very frustrating cycle of maybe dealing with flare-ups with your siblings or neighbors, dealing with frustrations in your neighborhood, maybe loud construction noise going off outside your window. And also, since this is the house of communication, maybe even verbally sparring with a lot of people. Good news is as Mars starts going direct again, it's going to make these areas of life a lot smoother, which is just so much easier to deal with. Now, Venus, the planet of art and beauty, begins the month in the sign of Libra, also in your ninth house. So if you're in relationships, the ninth house can also have a lot to do with adventure, kind of expanding your mind. So if you're in a relationship, you might want to spend some time kind of doing something fun and adventurous with your partner, maybe going on a little trip together, even if you've run into some snafus along the line. And if you're single, then you could get a crush on somebody who comes from a really, really different background than you, because the ninth house can rule sort of foreigners or people who come from different cultures. Then Venus enters Scorpio on November 21st, which is your 10th house. Again, this is the house of authority figures. So during this transit, you could be getting along really, really well with any authority figures in your life, because Venus brings peace and harmony wherever she goes. So if you need to ask your boss for something, or if your parents are still your authority figures, or even some teachers, really nice, smooth sailing with them.
That's so sweet. Do you know, I think also while Venus was back in the ninth house, that might have really been a bright spot amongst all of the tough stuff going on right now, because that's the house of meaning, about trying to figure out what it all means and contextualize it in a way that can help you find happiness. And so that's been really good. But then also, as Venus moves out of that house, the sun moves into Sagittarius on the same day, November 21st, 22nd, beginning the season of Sagittarius, which is also a time when we all search for meaning. And for you, that falls in the 11th house of friends and groups and tribe. And so the sun brings the light of consciousness, the light of awareness, the light of attention to any area where it goes. And so you might find that your attention is going to the groups that you're a part of and trying to discover yourself in those contexts. Now, earlier in the month, we had the first of this month's two moons, which is on the 14th. And this is a new moon in Scorpio, which falls in your 10th house of career. We've called this moon Consider Your Shared Estate, because it combines three different themes. One of them is the Scorpio theme, which is about sharing particularly financial sharing, although it's also to do with intimacy. Another theme is Juno, that's placed right here with the sun and moon. And Juno is about marriage and committed partnerships of all kinds, which includes professional partnerships. And then there's also a pile of Capricorn planets involved in this moon. And so this theme, all put together, has to do with taking responsibility for what's going to happen to your stuff when you pass, and really thinking about end of life, and making some plans that are appropriate. Because this falls in your 10th house, it might feel like a particularly big burden of responsibility, or it might connect you to your business or your career and your long-term goals. So those are some things to really put thought into around the new moon in Scorpio. The end of the month, we have a full moon in Gemini on the 30th. And this one, we've also got a special name for it. It's Make the Mind, Body, Heart Connection. And this particular moon falls in your 5th house, which is a house of recreation, creation, recreation, and procreation. So it covers creative process and product, also children. It is a house of fun, pleasure, and play, playing unselfconsciously like a child. This moon is a full moon, which tends to bring a big dose of passion and emotion and feeling. And so that's the heart part of this, make the mind, body, heart connection. And then it's in Gemini, which is a sign that is very cerebral. So that's the mind part. And then the body part is over here in Ceres, which falls square to this moon. So this month, as the axis of the full moon sits in the 5th house and the 11th house, you're going to be balancing yourself between who am I as a person, as an individual, and how does my creativity define me? And who am I as a member of the groups that I'm in, and how I find meaning in life through the groups that I'm in. And you'll be looking for ways to bring your heart and your mind and your body all together in that pursuit of understanding. In longer term news, Saturn and Jupiter have been traveling along through Capricorn for pretty much all of this year. They're about to move into Aquarius next month in December. And that's going to constitute a pretty big state-based shift, I think, for all of us. It's going to lighten things up. And we've made videos about it, one for each, Saturn and Jupiter. And you can find those in our playlist, the November 2020 news playlist on our YouTube channel, Pandora Astrology. And if you enjoy these horoscopes, please do share them with your friends. Like, share, and subscribe, because we love to see you around our corner of the universe. And until next month, we'll see you around the cosmos. Bye.
Bye-bye.